it to me, Rockfin. Come on, baby. Yes! Rockfin! Yes!
Oh, boy.
Yes. This shit is bananas. B-A-N-A-N-A. Yes, this shit is bananas. B-A-N-A-N-A. Yes.
Oh, my God. I forgot about that song. Oh, my gosh.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Sabby and Jaybe show. Good to have you here on RBN. All right, I'd like to give a warm welcome to each and every one of you, and remind you guys that the Sabby and Jaybe show streams every single Thursday on Thursdays at 6 p.m. Eastern. By the way, Sabby, are you doing a show this evening on your channel?
I am. I have a candidate running for governor in Connecticut, Green Party candidate that's coming on tonight for part of the show.
Better be there or be square. Okay. So, by the way, Sabby doesn't have a show tomorrow night because she's preparing for this weekend. Okay?
Yeah.
So right now
right.
And then later tonight is your last time to see Sabby for the week. So better make sure to be there. I want to see like 700-800 people live watching, okay?
Okay.
I'm watching you. All right, please make sure to give this stream a thumbs up. And if you are new, please hit that subscribe button and click the link bell so you can be notified whenever we have new content. So good to see you, Sabby, my sister from another mister. How you doing? How you feeling?
I'm doing great, JB. I've been really, really busy this week. Actually, the past 2 weeks getting ready for this weekend. So I'll be heading out tomorrow to DC and yeah, all that fun stuff. So I'm going to try to stream that. We'll see how it goes because I'll be using my phone. So there's no telling.
Gotta know technology. Yeah. Technology is like, is it gonna work? I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. Well, yeah. But today was so kind of day. But yeah, there's just a lot going on in our lives right now. Of course, you have the Action for Assange rally that's coming up. I have to prep for a show on my channel for the morning this Sunday because I'll be having on Richard Medhurst on my channel for this Sunday.
Whoop, whoop.
So that's gonna be a good show. So I can't wait to have him on, to discuss all things Middle East. So we're gonna be talking about that too. So as always, as per customary on this show, I would just like to say hello to everybody in the chat. All right. We have... I thought I saw... Okay. All right. We'll start with this one. Thank you, CBC Jam Rock. Sorry, I couldn't.
Welcome to Jam Rock.
I couldn't do that.
Boom, boom. I love that song.
I saw it, and I was just like, Savvy's here. I got to make sure I bring it this time. So, CBC Jam Rock says, should a reaction to Payne's speech to Naruto, your input from the anti-imperial left would make a nice discussion? Okay. I'm sorry for saying this, but I've never watched Naruto.
Naruto?
Yeah. Never watched Naruto. There's a lot of people that are going, oh, you never seen Naruto? I'm like, yes, I'm sorry. I've never seen Naruto. Never watched it. Sorry. But reaction to Payne's speech to Naruto, I guess I can look for it. Maybe. I'll probably, if I do the reaction to it, I might do it on my channel. I don't know, but that'll be interesting. But thank you. Appreciate it. All right. See the chain says, from what I've seen and heard from Bill Burr, he seems based AF. I hope I'm not wrong. Can't wait for the show. We're going to talk about it. See? Mm-hmm. All right. Good to see you in the chat. Sean Miller says, "Holy shiz! I'm early for once. Hey, y'all. Big love. Big love to you, too. All right. Kathy Looney says, is he next to be canceled?
I don't
Stay
think so.
tuned. Stay
I hope
tuned.
not.
Sabby Sav says, Bree's going live in 30 minutes. I'll be show hopping. It's going to be interesting tonight. That's all I'm going to say. It's going to be interesting. Rodrigo says, did y'all see Stella Assange destroy John Bolton?
I saw that. I saw it on Twitter.
How was it? Was it like, what did she like fillet him or?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, like she basically called out his own hypocrisy. Oh. You know, he's basically saying that he thinks that, you know, Julian Assange should be imprisoned, and he was pretty nasty about it. And she just basically like destroyed him and brought up his own faults.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Like,
wow. Put the walrus in his place. Nice. Okay. So Bryce, so good to see you. Sabby and Jaybe, hello. Hello, Bryce. Good to see you. We have Eric Gray saying, what's up? So good. What the hell is in that tea? Damn. Rowan Smith says, woohoo! Good to see you. Kristen Daisy says, yes, Stella was awesome. Oh, I gotta look at this. Y'all hyping it up. I gotta. I'm sorry. That last name, Grandpa Falkenrath. That's what it sounds like. Yeah. He said, love you, Sabby. Hey, Sabby getting some love. All right. Sabby's everybody's favorite granddaughter. All right. Sorry.
Kinky? Oh, dear.
Keep it PGJB. Exciting weekend. Thank you. I'm not going anywhere near that username. No. And I know some of y'all want me to. No. Not in front of Sabby. Sabby's like the principal of a high school. She's like the dean of a college. I am not misbehaving in front of Sabby. No. You're not going to catch me misbehaving. No.
Her name is Kinky.
Sabby! No! No, Sabby! wait. No! Sabby got me. She said it. She said it. Tiberius Monk, who's in the super chat, thank you, said this is the Sabby and Jaybe show. Oh man, a pillar of black excellence on the RBN network. Also, JB has a great deep voice, almost like James Earl Jones. Thank you. Thank you. I wish they would cast me to be Darth Vader instead of using a computer. But whatever.
Oh.
Yeah. You may dispense with the pleasantries, Commander. I'm here to put you back on schedule. So, yeah, I wish I could. All right. SCH says Medhurst is great. All right. Let me see. Who else do we have in the chat before I go on? Bob K says, RM is on best on Middle East. Thank you so very much. All right. And then we have Ty G says Berserk is bomb. I don't know who that is. It's Arif Hassan. Or wait, Arif Hassan. Did I say it right? Reagan crack. That's when I'm gonna start. Whenever they say they're throwing red meat to the base, I'm gonna start saying they're throwing Reagan crack to the base. Snowy Taco says more people need to talk about Naruto. I said it. Okay, cool. ACAT says love. Thank you so very much, ACAT. Sterling says Ty G. All right. Okay. And then we're going to end with Lewis. Says Bill Burr was great in the Chappelle show. Okay. Thank you so very much. Yeah. I saw him in, did you see him in, Hey Gamer? Hey, Waddy. So good to see you. Did you know that his name is pronounced Wari?
No, I've been calling him Ware Pilgrim all this time.
Yeah, I've been saying it wrong the whole time. He corrected me. I'm like, oh my god, it's not Ware, it's Wari. I'm like, thank you. And so, oh goodness.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm seeing Kiki in the chat. I'm not going to address that one, but love you, Kiki. But now to the conversation I had, because we only have so much time to do this, because number one, Sabby's a very busy woman. Number two, I'd be tired as hell if I were her right now. I probably wouldn't be able to do the show. She is like Diana. She's Wonder Woman. Anywho, Bill Burr. So Bill Burr is a comedian, a white comedian that had, that is, pretty famous. And I also have some questions regarding comedians to ask you, Sabby, but I really want to get into this. Now, so this is from Bill Burr's radio show, but it's not on his channel.
Okay.
I don't know if I should play it on the Twitter side or the YouTube side. YouTube side, there's no cutoffs. Twitter, you have to go from video to video. I don't know if that's going to matter, because I don't want us to be demonetized, but I don't know. We might get demonetized. I don't know.
Maybe try the Twitter one.
All right. So we'll just go from. Okay, we'll do that.
But Bill Burr, for people who don't know, Bill Burr he's from my state. He's from Massachusetts, from Canton, Massachusetts, south of Boston.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot of comedians from here.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So by the way, I want to give a shout out to Zay Squirrel. Zay Squirrel be putting up some great tweets. I'm telling you. Zay Squirrel, shout out to you. I don't know if you watch me on my channel or watch RBN, but Zay Squirrel, you've been putting out some fire tweets. I'm telling you, I don't know who you are, but if y'all ain't following Zay Squirrel, follow Zay Squirrel. Zay Squirrel is just based. Gotta love them. I don't know
socialism.
Okay. Gave it away. Okay. So Sabby, you have not heard this. So this is gonna be interesting. I want to get your thought, and then between some of these videos, I want to get your takes on what he said. All right. So and this is in your wheelhouse too. So let's go.
Socialism. Hi, Bill, you redheaded fuck. I really appreciate the bluntness of that.
Oh, by the way, he's actually reading. Oh my God, Moth, get out of my way. He's reading a message from a right-wing fan. So that's what he's reading. That's what he's reading. Okay. So sorry about that. I just got to start with
that. Socialism. Hi, Bill, you redheaded fuck. I really appreciate the bluntness of that. How are you? Last week you mentioned you don't know why people demonize socialism. I was really taken aback at that statement. Oh, Jesus Christ. Every country that has tried socialism has failed, and it's responsible for tens of millions of deaths. All right, so would you say capitalism is working? And it is not, when what is it? Like 99% of the wealth is in like fucking 2% of the people's hands. All of these tent cities, you're telling me this is working? You don't think capitalism is responsible for tens of millions of deaths? Anyway, Russia, Germany, China, Cuba, and most recently Venezuela have tried, or right now are socialist countries. As far as I know, whatever Cuba was trying to do, we prevented them from doing with a fucking embargo or whatever the hell we did. We've been fucking with them for 60 years. So I think you're looking at like what a lot of people do is you look at your own country through rose-colored glasses the same way you look at your own sports team like, oh, my team doesn't cheat, but your team does.
So
okay. So what people have to understand, like, and I say this, being pretty familiar with Bill Burr. Bill Burr he's been known also to criticize liberal hypocrisy.
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen him do that publicly as well. So I think sometimes some of his conservative viewers may hear those statements and think, oh, okay, yeah, he's like one of us. He's not. He's not conservative. He is. Oh my God. Like, if there was like a Boston, like if you want to point to like that Boston stereotype, like Bill Burr reminds me of that quintessential Bostonian, like the old school Bostonian, not the ones you have now, because it's been heavily gentrified. But he gives zero fucks. Bill Burr he doesn't care what anyone thinks. He doesn't care what you really got to. He says what he says. And if he gets booed, then he just like, whatever, screw you. You know, he's the guy that you would see. I guess if you were coming to Boston, he would be the guy yelling out the window of the car saying, hey, fuck you. Why are you driving so slow? I'm trying to get to Dunks. I'm trying to get to Dunks. Get the fuck out of my way. Like that's Bill Burr, right? So he really, really does not care what people have to say about him. He really doesn't. He did an opening for SNL. He hosted SNL. I think this was a couple months. Yeah. And he calls people out.
I'm thinking about that time where he's called out white women. I was just like, I was like, oh my God, this dude. It was just like, what?
Well, you have to remember his wife is black, so just keep that in mind.
I know. That's that was the part. I was just like, what? Okay. Are you ready for the rest?
Go ahead.
All right. You're gonna smile the whole time. Watch. I just wanted to get Sabby's reaction to this. This is gold.
You're really sort of looking the other way with what capitalism has done to other countries. All the sweatshop labor, all the wars we've fought in over air quote freedom, where most of it is about, you know, natural resources. All of these fucking countries where we've gone in and, you know, stuck in heads of the government that are going to do what we want to do so we can fucking take advantage of them. Like, I mean, to sit there and look at capitalism like it's, you know, I don't know, dude. All right, I took off my Birkenstock, so I'm going to read the rest of this here. Okay, socialism all starts the same way. Create a boogeyman like corporations, the rich, or a race. Oh, yeah, we've never done that in this country. We've never created a boogeyman. There's never, I mean, Jesus Christ, buddy. Blame them for all your problems. Yeah, we never did that. The leaders then promised to fix all the problems. Oh, boy. Slowly, the government starts to control every aspect of your life. Why does this sound so familiar? Promise that aren't they like recording all our phone conversations now? And we're slowly on our way to getting microchipped. Promise that everybody will have the same equity and outcome. This creates mediocrity, loss of the middle class. Loss of the middle class. Where have I seen that before? Of innovation. You know, corporations are buying houses now. They're just buying them up so they can fucking Airbnb. Like literally the American dream, buying a house. They're going to take that away in this country. That reduces the tax money coming out into the government. Buddy, I can't fucking read all of this horse shit. This is everything that we're doing too. Capitalism. Okay, I'll get to the end here. Capitalism. No, you know what? Let's just read all of this because it's fucking hilarious that he's acting like none of this is happening in this country. And you know what's funny about people? You don't like it, get the fuck out of here. This is my favorite thing ever. Yet you can look at your sports team and be like, what the fuck is this coach doing? And then nobody goes like, you don't go fucking root for somebody else. No, I'm criticizing it because I love it and I want it to win.
I told you he gives zero fucks. He does not care. He's like, whatever. It is really interesting that the viewer that's criticizing him, all of those criticisms actually apply to capitalism because capitalism has been destroying the middle class.
Yeah. It's just hilarious because it's like, dude, look in the mirror. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. But see, JB, that goes to show you some people don't really know that much about socialism. Like they think that they do because they're listening to what mainstream media says about socialism, but a lot of times that's a lie. And so they just take those talking points from mainstream media and apply it to it. Half the time, they don't even realize what they're saying. They don't understand it. And then they don't realize you can apply some of those same critiques to capitalism, the system that we're in right now.
But the funny part is whenever they critique socialism, they're actually talking about capitalism. That's the crazy part.
Right.
So, my goodness.
Right. And you know, Fox News and MSNBC and CNN, they do it too. They use those same talking points. That's how I know. That's how you can tell. Like they're only watching mainstream media.
Oh my God. Like Nick always says, clown shit.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. Like you would think people would do more research, but they don't. Richard Wolff has really good breakdowns about this. I think he does one every year where he really breaks down what does socialism mean. And he talks about different types of socialism. So whenever people ask me like, who should I like refer people to who don't understand socialism? I said, refer them to Richard Wolff channel on YouTube.
Yeah, he's a really good resource. So, ready to finish it?
Go right ahead.
All right.
Punish the rich, which eventually leads to them leaving the country. Oh, yeah, that hasn't happened. Yeah, the rich haven't, like, you know, their money leaves the country and then comes back in the form of an interest-free loan that is then forgiven. Jesus, buddy, come on. The richest people usually employ the most of the population. Oh, boy. Disarm the citizens so that they cannot revolt. Control the media, like promoting the government. Control the media. There's two guys that own the media, Ted Turner and fucking that other guy there, the guy from Fox News. That's why we're Hatfields and McCoys right now. Disarm this.
Wow. See, I told you.
Citizens so they cannot revolt. Control the media, like promoting the government agenda with propaganda, then censorship of all their other ideas.
What'd you say? I'm sorry.
He's like the quintessential like Bostonian. Like sometimes some people will use the word fucking as like just as like an ad lib here. So that's pretty common.
Gotcha. All right, let's continue. Let me go back just a couple seconds. All right.
Of all their other ideas. Yeah, creating areas where you can only protest, which are down and around the corner, away from the fucking media. Yeah, okay. Eventually, all rights are taken away. Dissenters, journalists, and politicians, oppositions are jailed or executed. Eventually, the leaders will become exactly what they originally campaigned against. Jesus Christ, buddy. I've forgotten what you're... He goes, there's much more to it on an economic level, but as a fellow moron, it's too complicated for me to understand. All right. I am also a fellow moron, but dude, all of that shit has happened. If you look at all the rights and everything that you have lost in the last fucking 20 years, I don't even know. I don't even begin in creating a boogeyman and racism, genocide, all of that shit. We've done all of that. We've done all of that. You know, when I was a kid, there was rules on media ownership. No one person could own any 7. It was rules of 7. No one person can own 7 radio stations, newspapers, TV stations, blah, 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 in one market, because they knew if you owned all of that, if you control the media, you control thought. And yet they've let Ted Turner and that fucking, I want to say Rupert Murdoch, do exactly that. And present CNN and Fox News have the fucking balls to present the people that are on TV as journalists and then also acting as though you're watching news. You're not. You're watching propaganda.
100%. 100%. Like,
yeah, I had to
like
finish my tea for that one.
Well, it's just funny. I'm listening to that comment because the media is controlled under capitalism also.
Yeah. I mean, look, sorry, I had to. But just like, for instance, Gorgizilla says, Patriot Act, anyone?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I was thinking of the crime bill, the 94 crime bill, right? Like for instance, they want to talk about rights being taken away under socialism. Let me ask people who are watching this, where are the Second Amendment rights for Black people? Because every single time the police think we have a gun, they're ready to shoot first and ask questions later. Yet I don't see people who consider themselves conservative, who are, gun ho about gun rights. I don't see them circling around those of us Black people that are marching in the streets, and they're going, no, we got to protect these Black people because the state is actually treading on them. No, I don't see them. I may see some libertarian, gun people who, are teaming up with Black Lives Matter and things like that want to help protect them because, they have more overlap, in beliefs. But a lot of these conservative ones, a lot of ones that, consider themselves ultra right and is God, guns, and country, where are they? Where are they? Like, for instance, where were they when the Black Panthers had their guns and they were wielding them, and then Ronald Reagan decided to put in gun control in California when he was governor of California, and then guess what? Try to take everybody's guns away.
Yeah.
Where were you then when they wanted to come after us? Look, a dude got off for killing a teenage boy because he thought he had a gun, because he thought he was dangerous, and he shot him dead. And then he got off, partially because his dad was a judge. That happened in Florida. His name was George Zimmerman, because he thought he was dangerous, because he looked like this. And guess what? Where are the people who are like, oh my God, the tyranny? They're not around. They're not here. And then they look at people like me and then they think we're dangerous. Why did I have to put out a tweet about a day ago about how a lot of us Black men, we're not dangerous? I make myself more docile just to appeal and for you to feel safer around me.
But again, I think what people have to remember, those amendments, when they were written, were only written to apply to certain people at that time, right? People like to bring up the Declaration of Independence, all men are created equal. They weren't talking about Black people. They weren't talking about women either. They were specifically talking about white men. So you have to think about the time and the context that it comes from. So when those amendments were written, they were not including Black people.
Mm-hmm. If America is such a free country and socialism is so bad, why is it that the 13th Amendment still allows for slavery? And you can look it up yourself. Go to the Google machine, look up the 13th Amendment, and right after that comma where it says except, that means that the Constitution literally makes an exception for slavery. That means it thinks slavery is okay.
Right.
So
that's why I always tell people you got to remember the time period when it was written.
Yeah. And so a lot of times people, and by the way, I think Eric, I forgot to respond to your question. Bill Burr was responding to a right-wing fan of his. That was basically, because I guess Bill Burr said like he didn't understand why people hate socialism so much. And then he was trying to, demonize socialism. And Bill Burr was like, no, capitalism is not better at all. That's what that whole rant was about. But I should have, never mind. It's okay. If you guys want to, listen to this for yourself outside of the stream, I put the link to Z Squirrel's tweet in the chat. So if you guys want to take a look at that, but I mean, Sabby, like, was Bill Burr wrong in any way?
No, he wasn't. And then again, I think because there have been times when he has criticized liberals. And so some of his conservative viewers may think, oh, this guy's like, he's one of us. And I don't know why they would have thought that. You really listen to his comedy and the things that he says, you would know he was not leaning in that direction. Right. And so I think people also need to understand when we talk about censorship and things like that, that applies to people who are comedians also, right? So that applies to people like Dave Chappelle, that applies to people like Bill Burr. And I think when I'm trying not to laugh. I'm sorry. It's funny because I knew as soon as you started playing this, I was like, I already know which way this is going to go. This is going to go. But I think it's important for people to understand too, like when we're talking about something like the Bill of Rights, like, because we talk about censorship and free press and stuff a lot. The Bill of Rights was written before slavery was abolished in the United States. Mm-hmm. So those rights, free speech, free press, like the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms, like that, again, that was not applied to us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you got to remember that. Then you'll understand why some people behave the way that they do, because they still don't think that you should have it. They don't think that Black people should bear arms. When they talk about, a lot of times when people talk about, not everyone, when they talk about the right to bear arms, they're talking about white people, not Black people. That's the image that they see in their mind. And you can see this through various studies too. They have like these study groups that they do. You should watch the ones that are done with kids. Have you seen those before, JB, where they'll show a kid a picture and tell the kid, like, tell me the first thought that comes to your mind? They'll show them a picture of a Black person and a white person, and the negative qualities are always applied to the black picture, not the white picture. Even kids, see this.
Absolutely. I think I remember one, I don't know if it was in a news report or it was in a documentary, but they showed a white guy I think it was a white guy in a suit, and then they showed a Black man in a hoodie, and they asked which one is the teacher and professor and which one is a criminal. And then they were basically like, no, the white guy in the suit was actually the criminal. The guy in the hoodie, Black guy in the hoodie, was actually the teacher. And it was just like, but the thing is that you automatically think, oh, Black guy, hoodie, criminal, right? So yeah, that basically goes in line with what you just said. So
there was a professor here in Massachusetts that was arrested, was heading in that direction. He was approached by the police in a parking lot here, and because he fit the description, okay, they're like, we're looking for a Black guy with a baseball cap. Okay, that's a lot of people here, right? And he was trying to explain to the police that he was a professor at Mass Art. He worked at that college, and they didn't believe him because of the way that he was dressed. And they said, well, if a professor, why are you wearing like what you're wearing? First of all, what art professor is wearing a suit? It's just like,
hey, Sabs, remember when Professor Henry Louis Gates got arrested by police? I think he locked his keys in the house, and he was trying to get back into his house, and people thought that there was a Black man trying to break into his house, and he's like, "This is my house."
Yeah.
And then I'm sorry, go ahead.
There's more to that story too, because Henry Louis Gates was also really apparently intoxicated at that time. So like after that happened, they all sat down, like him, the police officer, and of course, Obama had to get involved in this. And Obama sat down and laughed about it afterwards, because but the fact that JB's trying to point to is the fact that people thought there's a Black guy breaking into a house, and he was a Harvard professor. He's like, dude, I live here. People see me here all the time, But yeah. And he wears a suit.
Oh yeah, he does.
Mm-hmm.
They had the beer summit.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Anywho, I'm not a beer guy, but I wanted to also and Bad Cookies actually alluded to this, and this is going to be a question that I have for you. Bad Cookie says, I almost put Bill Burr in the same category as George Carlin.
Oh, I can see that.
So, yeah. So my question, and take as go as far as you need to with this, but my question is, do you think there has been a departure from critiquing the aspects of capitalism in comedians, and why? If you do, and why?
A departure?
Yeah, from critiquing the aspects of capitalism. Well, not critiquing the aspects of but critiquing capitalism itself.
Yeah. Well, that it's happened also, I would say, throughout the industry. It's also happened in music. It's happened in sports and professional sports as well. You don't have those as many as those voices as you did back then. So we were talking about this a couple days ago. If you ask your parents about music that they grew up listening to, there were artists that specifically would speak out against war, as the song, like that song "War." What is it good for? There were a lot of musicians who used to speak out against it. And then the other thing, in reference to comedians, yeah, I mean, you don't have like a Richard Pryor today. You don't have some of the things that Eddie Murphy could talk about during Eddie Murphy's Raw. Can't really talk about some of those things today. They were more bold back then, but there was also less censorship back then. We have more censorship now, even though we have more technology. But yeah, you don't see it as much now as you used to before. And I just feel like some people just kind of fell in line. They're like, I'm going to fall in line so I can get my bag. There are some comedians that have gone that route. And then there are some that are like, no, I'm still going to like criticize like these things. But I think what they've seen is that it seems like the comedians who get the really large audiences and they can sell out like Madison Square Garden are typically today. It seems like it tends to be the ones that go along with the status quo.
Yeah. Now, it's just like there's this particular type of thought, and I'm going to share my screen really quick because this person, I'm going to try to be, I'm not going to try to insult my language, but I really want to insult him. This person said, Nick Adams said, politics and sports should never intersect. Now, this person is basically like a super ultra right wing, Trump supporter, but this is, basically a lot of people who think this way now. And the funny part is, when it comes to stuff like this, they'll say that it didn't, politics and sports never intersected in the past and blah, blah, blah. When that's not true. And I actually have an example. Boom. Politics and sports have intersected for years. Because the thing is that a lot of these athletes, they exist in the real world, and therefore, and sometimes in order to bring certain things to light, social issues and sometimes even economic issues to light, they use that platform where you have millions of eyes to see what's actually going on. Like for instance, what did Muhammad Ali do?
Right.
A lot of people don't look at that, and they're, But my thing is and to basically back up what you're saying is, I don't like, for instance, what George Carlin was saying during his comedy shows. Like everybody quotes, "Is a big club and you ain't in it." Well, when you watch that entire thing, when you watch that entire part of his comedy, I actually want to watch the entire comedy special now. But it really is based on working class and showing that capitalism really is just a cancer on our society.
Right.
And, I just fear, for any comedian that really does speak out against it, but honestly, it does feel like comedians, they kind of bottleneck themselves into, let's just talk about social issues only, and we're not gonna veer outside of that. Like for instance, if you, I don't know if you remember, but Pryor actually did a comedy special, and he was talking shit about the police,
Mhm.
right? You know, and so, and it was funny. I don't hear that anymore.
Not today. No, 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 no. Not so much today. I mean, there's something about that picture. Can you show that picture again? Because there's an untold story about this picture that I think
Sure.
some people may not be aware of. So in this picture, there's three guys standing there. This was during the Olympics. And what a lot of people don't know about this picture is that the white guy in the front also had his fist raised too. When the photographer took the picture, he took the picture before that gentleman raised his fist. And I think this is important for people to understand, because I've seen a lot of people point to this picture and they'll say, notice how the white guy is not standing in solidarity. That's actually not true. He also stood in solidarity with them, but that was not when the photographer snapped the camera. So just important for people to know. He wasn't American, by the way.
Got you.
Yeah. I wish I could
Wow.
remember his name. I can't remember his name, but yeah, just a little bit of history there for you.
Yeah.
In fact, I believe this picture, if I remember correctly, I believe this picture was in one of my history books.
Mm-hmm.
And even there, it's not mentioned. Like that, what I just told you, that's not mentioned.
You know what's funny? I'm looking through Google right now, and they're all showing the pictures of the white guy without his fist up,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not showing him with his fist up too.
No, they don't. They don't. But that guy, that athlete has commented about this before.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is the thing. It's like, so here's the thing about a picture, right? The story that's told in the picture is what is captured when you snap that camera. Whatever happens after you take that picture, if you don't take another picture, well, then this is the end of the story.
Yeah.
So it's important to, I don't know, like, why did the photographer do that, right? Maybe he was trying to send a message, or maybe this is the story that the photographer wanted to tell. Maybe he didn't want to tell the story of the white athlete standing in solidarity with them. Maybe that would have been a little too risque at that time.
Maybe. And I mean, look, I'm literally scrolling, trying to find a picture of where it's all three of them with their fist up, but I just can't. I'm not finding it. I would literally probably have to put in the name of that athlete's name with his fist up. Part of it, maybe I can find it, but I'm not sure if I will. But I mean that really goes to the larger point, that you were saying about how a white person being in solidarity with the rest of us. It really speaks to how dangerous the powers that be feel it is, and this is one of the reasons why they did what they did to the Black Panthers.
Right. And I think it's just one of those things where it's, again, like them not wanting people to see that solidarity at that point in time. Maybe that was the story that the photographer wanted to tell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, okay. Peter Norman is the name of the white dude with Smith and Carlos. Okay, thank you so much. Let's see, Peter Norman. I'm hoping I can find it because I would actually like to show him with his fist up as well, but it's like, and here's the funny part, that look, they even have it enshrined in a statue, and the white guy's fist is not up. They even have it
Yeah.
enshrined in a statue. Hang on. Let me show this to you really quick before I move on. Because this is interesting. I'm just like, what? Hang on. Oh wow, that's tiny. Okay, hang on. All right. Okay, now I can share. Okay. So if you look, hang on, let me see. Hang on. If you look here, they have a statue of them, even though Peter Norman also raised his fist. They didn't include him in this statue. They just did the two black guys, the two black athletes, which is wild because that doesn't, like you said, it doesn't tell the full history.
Yeah. Yeah. And it appears he was Australian. So yeah, I was correct that he was an American. But that's really interesting too, that it's unfortunate they didn't capture that full story because, you know, considering some of the racial struggles that Australia has had with the Aborigines, that would have been a really telling moment to see him standing in solidarity with them.
Yeah, that would have been extremely telling. And it would have signaled to, like, this white guy can see it. Why can't some of y'all? You know what I mean? It's just like, you know, a lot of our, you know, comrades that are allies, you know, that are white, they can see it. It's like, why can't some of y'all? But that's the thing, you know, it's just like, it's considered dangerous because then that means that they see what's wrong and as well as us. And they're willing to change it, which means that other white people are going to be more sympathetic to hearing them talk about it, which means that it grows, which means that it threatens the power of the oppressor, the oligarchs. So it's just interesting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Wari. Yes. Thank you. Can we get 200 likes? Thank you so very much. I had another question as well. This is kind of I don't know if this is a kind of a dumb question for me to ask, but I think I'll just ask it. Do you think that comedians can be a true threat to the system based on their art?
Maybe if they used it to their full potential, but most of them aren't willing to go there. Most of them aren't willing to do what George Carlin did. You know, most of them aren't willing to speak about those kind of things. That were just what Bill Burr just did. Most of them aren't willing to come out in favor of socialism because they know how they'll be ridiculed, or it could affect their career to the point where some people may say, yeah, we're not going to let you book this venue. Sorry, dude, not feeling it. It's like they have to go along with that capitalist mindset or they're shunned.
Ooh, I think you just hit a nail on the head.
I think there was a big difference back then. I don't think when George Carlin got into comedy, I don't think he was trying to be famous. I don't think like because stand-up comedians don't make much. Like most of them don't make much, right? So it's not something that you do that you would do technically to become rich per se. But that changed later on when you have like people like Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle and people who have made millions like off of stand-up comedy, right? And some people just off of their stand-up shows, not counting the movies that they've done as well. So back then it's like it didn't seem like they were trying to do that. It didn't seem like people like I guess Richard Pryor too back then. I don't think Richard Pryor was necessarily trying to let me get into stand-up comedy so I can become like this rich comedian and a movie star. I think for some of them, it was a way of expressing their pain, and they expressed their pain through comedy. So a lot of comedians had pretty tragic lives. Like Richard Pryor did not have a good upbringing.
Yeah.
You know, if you look back on it, and sometimes that's their way of kind of like talking through the pain. A lot of times comedians grew up really poor. And so that's
Yeah.
why you'll hear people joke about it. Like the Wayans brothers, like back in the day when they used to do stand up, they used to talk about like growing up poor, like what it was like 10 of them, you know, in one room. So they would
Yeah.
make jokes about it. That's kind of your way of dealing with the pain.
Yeah. And, you know, I like, because I'm thinking about comedians that are anti-capitalist today. Like, for instance, you know, because I mean, we just heard from Bill Burr, but you think about the George Carlins. You know, I can include somebody, some lesser known ones, you know, than George Carlin. I can include like a Graham Elwood, Ron Placone, Jimmy Dore. They're comedians as well. And the thing is, they're anti-capitalist. But here's the thing: I don't see them booking large venues. I don't see them booking a lot of these, you know, getting these big deals. And I think part of it is because they threaten the system too much. And the people who want to fill the seats basically are like, no, we can't have you doing this because then that the hammer will come down on us. And so, you know, I
Right.
kind of wish that I had them in, you know, on a panel for this show, but maybe we can do a panel with, you know, some of them or a couple of them, you know, next time. But
I do have a quick correction. Sorry. My correction. He didn't raise his fist. He wore, it says Peter Norman from Australia wore an OPHR, which is Olympic Project for Human Rights badge in solidarity with Smith and Carlos. And you can see that if you look at that picture. But again, like I said, when that picture was taken, like most people just see that, oh, the black guys have their hands up and the white guys is not for it. And that wasn't true.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably the badge that he has, like right there. That might be what it is. I think that might be what it is right there that we can't really see very clearly.
Yeah, it said all three of them had that badge.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I see it right here, and I see it right here. The white circle. That's actually the badge, but you can't read it out very well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so that adds the context to it. Thank you so much for that correction, Sabby. I appreciate it. That makes sense now.
Yep. But yeah, it's like I think if you're one of those, yeah, that's right, Lee Camp. I think if you're one of those kind of voices, it's like they don't give you that kind of platform that they give like a Martin Lawrence, right? Like, is Martin Lawrence going to speak out against capitalism? Probably not.
No.
You know, it's just, is Chris Rock Chris Rock may joke about what it was like growing up poor, but is he going to speak out against capitalism during one of his sold out shows at Madison Square Garden? Probably not.
No. They're not, because it's been good to them, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, that's, you know, hang on, I see a quote from Spanky the Monkey. Try to get me in trouble. I see you trying to get me in trouble. Sabby, don't you dare say anything. Okay, don't you dare, Stabs. Says, quote, we don't come to comedy to think. Where the hell do you go to think? I'll meet you there, Bill Hicks. The thing is though, that's part of what comedy is. I mean, that's part of what satire is. You know what I mean? For instance, everybody talks about how much they love Jon Stewart, and Jon Stewart will criticize the hell out of conservatives, and sometimes he'll criticize liberals. But my question is that he only goes so far, right?
Right.
He's like the Squad. He knows how far he can go, but he can't cross that line, because once he crosses that line, then you know what? He'll end up like Dick Gregory on the FBI watch list.
Mm-hmm. Way down in the jungle deep.
Yep. Because before, and I'm not really going to read this, but I'm just going to show this because, because people take it how you will. But this says 1968, the FBI's plans to Dick Gregory.
Yep.
So my thing is that when it comes to comedians, they can actually truly be a threat to the system because comedy is an art form, right? And what does art do? Art really reveals to us what society is and the ills of society. And I feel like comedians, if they really started truly pushing, the envelope against the ills of society, against the ills of capitalism, that can actually change some minds, possibly. But
It could. I mean, especially a sold out show.
Mm-hmm.
You could tell a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm gonna be getting ready to go. But Greg says, okay, then take all the patriotism and military ceremonies out of sports. Boom.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you. Jay the Informant says, absolutely, they can. Thank you so much, Jay the Informant. Let me check.
Leroy's comment really quick. I'm sorry. This is too funny.
Sure.
Leroy says Chris Rock could talk about how capitalism got him slapped.
It's funny because it's true.
I can't, Leroy.
Leroy in here with the assist.
Oh dear.
We love you, Leroy. Let me get to some Rockfin comments before we head on out. So yes, that's right. This is going to be a short stream, people. Sorry, but Sabby's a busy woman. She's got stuff to do. She got things to do.
I'm like half packed.
Yeah.
Not fully packed yet.
Yeah. Zach, so good to see you in the chat. Says done and done. That'll be good. Fillet him doesn't sound well. It comes off a bit different than you intended. Oh, well, okay. Thank you so much, Zach. Dave Bird says Sabby and Jaybe in the house. So good to see you. Thank you for the tip on Rockfin, Zach. I'm sorry, Dave. Dave says thanks for this afternoon. Good luck, guys. Thank you so very much. Yes, you're absolutely right, Zach. The Boogaloo Boys did surround BLM and protect them with their guns, which is, that's documented. Jacob Greismer says the CIA currently maintains a network of several hundred foreign individuals around the world who provide intelligence to CIA at times. An attempt to influence opinion through the use of covert propaganda. These individuals provide the CIA with direct access to large numbers of newspapers. Thank you so much for that as well, Jacob Greismer. All right. And yeah, so I think that was the only couple of tips on Rockfin. Thank you. So I saw that. I saw it. Sabby, I'm not. Nope. The
comments. I'm sorry. The comments are. What happened to Kinky?
Kinky, where'd you go?
Kinky,
where'd you go?
Too silly.
I'm bringing Kinky back. Yep. Sabby, what you got coming up?
Oh man! All right, I'm heading out tomorrow to DC for the Julian Assange rally. Some of you have reached out and said you're going to be there, so I look forward to meeting you guys in person. Get to see your lovely faces and your big smiles. So looking forward to that. And then I do have that candidate coming on tonight at 8 p.m. And I have 3 news stories. There's a trucker strike that has started, which is something I've been calling for. So we're going to talk about that tonight too. But just really, really, getting pumped and ready for the Assange rally on Saturday. So I'm excited for that.
All right. Okay. Well, yep. Be prepared to tune in. And also I'll be doing the reading of Dirty Truths by Michael Parenti and Blood in My Eye by George Jackson this weekend. So you guys can look forward to that, and be sure to be on my channel to listen and watch as I interview Richard Medhurst on my channel. I think it's 10 a.m. Eastern. I think it's gonna be 10 a.m. Eastern. So be sure to come in and watch me on my channel. But anyways, thank you so very much.
What is that behind you?
What is what behind me?
What's that behind you? Turn around.
Turn around. What?
That mound. Is that a person?
What mound?
No, seriously,
Look,
what is that?
Look, I just have a lot of stuff. I gotta. Okay, it's clean clothes.
Oh.
I have to fold.
Oh, I was expecting to see someone jump out from under there any minute.
No. They're gonna come out, put their hand behind my neck, be like, "Give me a cornbread, boy." No. I have to fold clothes, and I just don't have. I don't have the energy right now to fold all my clothes. I just don't. I'm sorry.
I don't like folded clothes. Why didn't you just put them on the floor?
Because the floor is dirty, and I don't have tile or carpet. I have concrete.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
JB is hiding some type of a sex toy underneath that blanket.
Stop it!
There's something else up under there.
That's it. You're done. You're grounded, Sabs. You're grounded. That's it. We are done. No. You and Rome. My God, what the hell is going on? What was in your tea, Sabs?
I just have
like the stream. Wish Sabby a great weekend. By the way, thank you to all our patrons on Patreon. Sabby is grounded. Good forehead kisses goodbye. Good night, everybody. Sabby talking about sex toys. What in the hell? Why?